Hello and welcome. So glad you've joined us for another weekend edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. On today's half-hour journey through the pages, we'll look at ways to maintain good mental health, prevent mosquito-borne diseases, and achieve productivity. Stay with us.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
Managing through the pandemic does pose serious challenges for persons, not only financially, but mentally as well. We have some tips for engaging in positive and uplifting activities that can help maintain good mental health.
It is normal to feel sad, stressed, confused, scared, or overwhelmed during a crisis such as that caused from the COVID-19 pandemic. But there's no need to. For one, we must first inform ourselves about this disease through reliable sources to determine our risk and precautions to take. This can go a far way in calming our fears and ensuring our safety. Keeping in touch with family and friends and talking to people you trust, even as we practice social distancing, can help prevent panicking and keep you in good spirits. If you must stay at home during this period, try to maintain a healthy lifestyle of proper diet, adequate sleep, and regular exercise. Don't use smoking, alcohol, or other drugs to deal with your emotions. If you feel overwhelmed, talk to someone about it, a healthcare provider or counselor that you can call. Ensure that you're fully engaged in something constructive to occupy your time. An arrangement with your employer to work from home where possible is good in helping to keep up normal daily routines. Limit the time you and your family spend watching, listening, or in conversations about COVID-19 that you perceive as scary or upsetting to avoid being overwhelmed. Make sure you are in the know generally, but try to engage more in other things or change the topic of your conversations to things you enjoy talking about. Draw on the skills that have helped you manage previous adversities. It's important to try to maintain some sort of daily agenda so that the days are not wasted and you'll feel more accomplished. Focus on activities that make you feel happy, like reading a book, watching your favorite show, playing video games with your family, or telling stories. Do some gardening or chores around the home too. Children too need to be provided with the information to help them understand the risks without becoming scared and confused. Use age-appropriate language to teach them about hand washing, cough and sneezing etiquette, and social distancing. It's also important to reassure them about what could happen if they start feeling sick and may have to go to the hospital so doctors can help them feel better. In the meantime, ensure their learning continues even as schools are out. And give them extra time and attention. Listen, speak kindly, comfort them, and of course, make time to play. When it comes to easing fear and anxiety around COVID-19, just consider that once we do what's necessary to protect ourselves and prevent spread, we should be well. If we do get sick, rest assured our doctors are trained to manage the illness and help us recover. And yes, while we maintain proper cough etiquette, cover our noses when we sneeze, and practice social distancing, we must treat each other with care and respect. Don't be startled by every cough or sneeze. Remember, not everyone who does has the virus. Take care of yourself, support others, don't panic.
Mosquitoes can spread diseases such as dengue fever. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Use a mosquito repellent that contains DEET. Sleep under a mosquito net, close windows before dark, open windows and doors during fogging, cover your body as much as possible, and wear light-colored clothing. Protect yourself from dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases. Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding in your surroundings. A message from the Ministry of Health.
With the rainy season upon us, it's important that we are vigilant in identifying and destroying mosquito breeding sites to reduce our risk of contracting mosquito-borne diseases such as dengue fever. Our next feature will help you identify, treat, and prevent the spread of this illness.
Dengue fever is a vector-borne disease carried by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. It is caused by the flavivirus and occurs in either a mild or severe form in tropical and subtropical areas of the world. Globally, 50 to 100 million cases of dengue are seen yearly.
Dengue is endemic to Jamaica, meaning that since its introduction in 1977, we have cases that occur every year. The cases of dengue fever, including severe dengue, can occur at any time throughout the year. An outbreak is declared when the number of cases increase above the usual that is expected for that time of the year.
Dengue is transmitted to humans by the bite of the infected female mosquito. Symptoms typically begin 3 to 14 days after someone gets infected with the virus. Symptoms can last from 2 to 7 days.
The incubation period is usually 4 to 10 days, and illness begins abruptly, and there are essentially 3 phases of the illness. First phase is where you have the fever. The second phase that you can go into is a critical phase, and then you have a recovery phase.
Over 70% of persons who contract the disease usually experience mild symptoms. Persons affected by the mild form of the disease may experience fever of 40 degrees Celsius or higher, headache, muscle pain, and bone and joint pain. Some people may also experience nausea, pain behind the eyes, swollen glands, vomiting, sore throat, rash, and diarrhea.
So you can see that it's a range of symptoms that can present, and therefore, when you initially present with dengue, it may be seen as different illnesses. It may be seen as gastroenteritis, it may be seen as an upper respiratory tract infection, or it can be seen as dengue fever.
To be on the safe side and put speculations aside, persons who start experiencing symptoms are advised to visit their health facility or doctor for medical advice and treatment. If indeed you have dengue, do not self-medicate with treatments that can worsen your illness or cause bleeding. So be sure to have a discussion about dengue with your doctor. The Health Ministry says doctors who recognize the presence of a fever should also have a high suspicion for dengue and treat with the necessary precautions. For mild cases of dengue, persons may treat themselves at home with specific types of over-the-counter medications, but heed the warning.
Fever and pain to the joints, pain to the muscles, must be treated with only medications that have cetamol, paracetamol, and Panadol. You can also use tepid sponging, fan therapy, and increased fluid to assist with decreasing the fever. Do not use medications that contain aspirin and other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as ibuprofen and diclofenac. You must read your labels carefully. If you are unsure, consult your pharmacist or your doctor before using the medication.
The drugs you should not take while experiencing dengue have been known to cause and/or worsen bleeding and increase the severity of the disease. Besides the mild form of dengue, persons can also experience a more severe form called dengue hemorrhagic fever, which is a rare complication of the illness that can lead to death. Usually the fever that comes with dengue lasts for about 5 days, and it is usually when the fever is going away that persons tend to worsen. Warning signs include persons not eating, experiencing persistent vomiting, lethargy, restlessness, shortness of breath, pain in the abdomen, or tenderness in the abdomen. Persons should also look out for signs of bleeding.
Those signs of bleeding can include bleeding from the gums, bleeding in the urine, it can be bleeding in the stool. Usually though, when you start getting bleeding in the stool, in the urine and stuff, you have reached a severe point.
It is important to note that a case of severe dengue can occur without symptoms of bleeding. Also, in a case of severe dengue, there may be difficulty in maintaining hemodynamics, in which a person's blood pressure tends to drop suddenly and circulation to vital organs is affected.
With dengue, fluid tends to seep from the blood vessels to the outside of the vessels, meaning that there is decreased blood flow to vital organs. And that is why you get the symptoms of lethargy and restlessness and pain in the abdomen. What those signs are signs of decreased perfusion to the brain. It means that enough fluid is not going to the brain because persons are dehydrated. Okay? The dehydration and the signs of dehydration are very important to treat.
Persons are warned to not wait for these signs and instead go to the doctor or hospital early. People with chronic illnesses such as sickle cell are at a greater risk of experiencing severe dengue. These individuals must use precaution when taking their medications.
If you have a chronic illness that you may be taking medications for and you think that there may be some interference with dengue, you must speak to your doctor to decide whether or not you should continue to take these medications.
In order to effectively combat and limit the spread of dengue and other mosquito-transmitted illnesses, persons must eliminate mosquito breeding sites in their surroundings. Breeding sites include old tires, laundry tanks, dish drainers, covered tanks or cisterns, drums and barrels, discarded buckets and containers. Other sources are pet dishes, construction blocks, bottles, discarded tin cans, tree holes and bamboo, bottle pieces on top of walls, old shoes and flower pots. Mosquitoes can also breed in discarded toys, roof guttering, bromeliad plants, garden containers and tools, brick holes and unmaintained wading or swimming pools. Where water is stored for use, the containers must be properly covered and sealed against mosquito entry. The use of mosquito repellents containing DEET and long-sleeved clothing are also recommended for personal protection.
The Cannabis Licensing Authority is committed to supporting the creation of a regulatory framework for the growth and sustainability of Jamaica's medical cannabis industry. We carefully assess application forms for businesses and individuals interested in becoming partners in the industry. Along with other ministries, departments of government and agencies, the authority endeavors to preserve the integrity of the industry through compliance. This is all done to ensure that the industry is operating in conformity with Jamaica's international obligations. Call or visit our website to find out more about the work of the Cannabis Licensing Authority.
The goal of every business is to reach the height of their productive capacity in the most cost-effective and efficient way. Productivity is, in fact, a crucial foundation for economic buoyancy and improvements in quality of life. Getting results is a matter of connecting the dots, involving several factors. Learn more in this next feature.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security, through the Jamaica Productivity Centre, JPC, has been developing and implementing programs as well as conducting workshops to assist individuals, companies and firms optimize their efficiency and drive productivity improvement in Jamaica. The JPC recently hosted a virtual session that brought accomplished individuals and high achievers in one setting to share needed information on how productivity can be achieved and its impact on society. Productivity, in simple terms, is how efficient an input is converted to output. When this happens, economic growth and the country's development is fueled because of the increased goods and services produced with greater efficiency. Businesses will realize higher profit as they produce more outputs from lower input due to the systems they implement. Their competitiveness will improve and they will be able to better compensate employees. Citizens will realize improvements in their standard of living and will be able to exercise higher levels of consumption of goods and services even with reduced working hours. Higher economic growth measured by increased gross domestic product (GDP) output resulting from an increase in productivity will also benefit the country. How? Through the generation of larger tax revenue for government. This allows for greater investments in infrastructure and services, including education, healthcare, welfare, transportation, roads, water, and more. Gross domestic product (GDP) is the sum of labor productivity, capital intensity growth, and total factor productivity. Therefore, increases in all three areas equate to us having a booming economy. JPC has found that there are several factors that hamper productivity that need to be treated with urgency. They include bureaucracy, low value-added production, crime, traffic congestion, lack of suitable technology and capital investment, as well as job and skill mismatch and limiting international trade flows. As it relates to labor productivity, the JPC recommends that companies and firms, public or private, small or large, research what is happening in their industry and make innovative changes on a consistent basis. Where enterprises are shifting from being more labor-intensive to technology, such as artificial intelligence, they must seek to create the right balance between human effort and technology to optimize productivity. Integrating the right technology and a smart business process that is measurable, result-based, and time-based is now an essential part of the solution for firms to optimize productivity. This includes establishing customer service platforms and payment gateways that are responsive. Every worker needs to know what is required of them, with the worker and supervisor using verifiable established targets.
You cannot improve if you're not measuring. You won't know what to do, and we'll just be all based on a gut feeling. And so that's one of the things we want to encourage us, even as individuals, organizations, to have that culture or habit of measuring and measuring what matters, right? And not just measuring everything, but measuring what matters and working to improve on those gaps that exist.
The Labour and Social Security Ministry, through the Jamaica Productivity Centre, has started its very own modernization exercise through the institution of a digital records management system, moving a number of its services online as it upgrades its network and investing in new technologies to improve efficiency. Investing in research and development and facilitating the creative, scientific and technological expertise of Jamaicans will spur innovation and the creation of new products and services to transform industries to meet the demands of the fourth industrial revolution.
For example, we have agriculture. Agriculture could be transformed to an high-level agricultural sector. And I'm thinking also with that, there can also be greater linkages between the goods producing and service producing sector.
Enhancing productivity, quality and competitiveness through world-class individuals will require a culture of continuous training.
We have to learn how to accept or create structures that allow innovation, allow change, to build a culture of continuous learning and improvement. Let us start with access to broadband. Broadband can give us that quantum leap forward in Jamaica, tied with a digital literacy program for people of all ages, tied with schools that focus on continuous learning and continuous improvement.
We need higher education and more focused training programs, upskilling the global services industry. So that's basically like the BPO.
There's the possibility for individuals to use the internet and free education available online to advance productivity and for maximizing on remote working in this increasingly digital world.
Working on your own individual digital literacy, being familiar with the tools that are out there, not just for consumption, but what the possibilities are. And there's so many resources online that you can find to do that. Coursera, Udemy, and these are their platforms in their own right. Another one too that's really good, because I find that the things on Coursera and Udemy tend to maybe work best if you've already completed high school and university. If you need to bring your math skills up to date, you can use a resource like Khan Academy.
Increased education and training, certification, quality management and leadership, rewards and incentives, innovation, having the right technology, automation and tools, and using those to full capacity are all key tenets of long-term productivity. Of course, all this doesn't necessarily mean working harder. Instead, it's all about working smarter.
It's the 11th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Students, show your national pride by entering the essay, poster and photo competition. Primary school students, enter the essay competition. Triumphant, proud and free. Use this phrase from the song Jamaica Land of Beauty to explain our nation's heritage and achievements. High school students, design a poster that best portrays the phrase triumphant, proud and free. And university students, capture a photo that depicts the phrase triumphant, proud and free. Submit your entries by October 31. Visit jis.gov.jm for competition guidelines. Triumphant, proud and free, the JIS Heritage Competition 2021.
Watch this next feature to see how you can get started in becoming a professional chef, or at the very least, jazz up your cooking skills.
Tourism and agriculture have been like Siamese twins from day one. 88% of the world travels for food experiences. And that 42% of the expenditure of all the visitors over the world is on food.
It's for reasons such as this that the Ebony Park Heart Academy has been invested in producing top-class chefs and entrepreneurs to fill industry demands.
What Heart is doing for students is that we are empowering our students. We want them to not just get a skill, but get the skill and make it useful. Open up their own business, have an entrepreneurship mind where you don't normally just have to work for people. We want to target everybody, those that are not doing anything, those that are at home not doing anything, those that feel like, boy, I'm too old and I really can't go back to school. We are for everybody. I want to target everybody in Jamaica because we want to empower our nation. And this is where it starts. We offer a wide variety of hospitality courses such as commercial food preparation, level 2, food and beverage service, level 3. But for this one now that we are focusing on today is the commercial food preparation level 2, where they learn a variety of things. They learn from pastries and to savory cooking. We actually have our own farm where we produce most of the items that we use. The pepper, we have our agro-processing units that gather the food and they process it and bottle it, and we use those products. So we don't normally buy a lot of produce out there on the street because we have our own processing unit, our own farm, our own crops, produce, everything.
Meet Amaria Bryan, a commercial food preparation student at the Ebony Park Heart Academy. At the 67th staging of the Denby Agricultural Industrial Food Show, Amaria showed off what Heart is teaching him with a scrumptious meal of chicken pasta stir-fry.
I do on-the-job training. So basically for a year, I work at the Ebony Park training restaurant meanwhile I am training. So there are days when I have to go in the kitchen to cook for people who are buying food at the restaurant. And we have to do this to get received to attain our grade. And based off our performance, we are graded, and then based off that, we get our certificate. What we did, we add a little twist to it and add an Alfredo sauce. So we basically just build a new recipe on spot, and we just call it chicken Alfredo. And in this, we have sweet pepper of different colors. We have ginger, we have salt, we have a little pinch of salt. We have basically what we was aiming for, we wanted to go natural, so we had no powder seasons. And we had two different types of cheese. We have mozzarella, which give it the body, and we had pepper jack cheese, which give it the flavor and give it a little spiciness. And we had sweet corns, we had blanched carrots, yes, and we have a little clove to give it a little kick. And basically, those are the main ingredients in the pasta. And we just add a little bit of brandy to bring out the flavor in the chicken breast, and to basically give it the flambe, the fire effect. That's what we did. And this dish can be prepared in about 5 to 7 minutes. Basically, I have to give the chicken breast time to cook, and the chicken breast cook very quickly. I just recently completed level 2 and I'm actually doing voluntary service here at Denby. And what I plan to do, I plan to do level 3. That's the supervisory level, chef de partie, under the same commercial food preparation. And after I finish that, I plan to work in the hotel, get some experience, but my ultimate goal is to work on the cruise ship and then in the Burj Khalifa at Dubai. Heart has created basically what we call a workforce database where they invest in their trainees, and then they produce them out into the workforce, and they basically have a lot of jobs waiting for us. So once a lot of hotels here at Ebony Park, then they want to take us. Some of them don't even want to interview you. They just want to know you're coming from Ebony Park, and then they just grab it because they know Ebony Park produces the best trainees, the best chefs they can find in Jamaica and on the cruise ship.
Students have worked in our major hotels in Jamaica. Even though I have students at the Rio Hotel, I have students at Sandals, I have students at Hilton. They're all over the place. I have students who are overseas now, who are in the hospitality area, and most of them are chefs. That's what they do, that's what they love, so they just go there. The sky's the limit for them, and they just want to do more, they want to learn more. So even though we teach them here, they always have a passion to know more about this foods, because it's so wide, it's so fun. I don't even know what to tell you, but it's a whole lot in one little package that you can get so much from.
If you want to grab your piece of the pie, but you're scared because you have no certifications in the subject area, don't worry. A mathematics and English entry test are available to process your application. So ask yourself this: what exactly is stopping you from starting your journey?
We work to make communities safer by essentially looking at the structures in the community that contribute greatest to social capital building. Try to reinforce, build, and establish those structures in a way that the community can sustain their own safety and own their own peace. When we say, for instance, we're doing a zinc fence removal program, what we're really doing is improving the line of sight. If you're on the street and you can see better what is behind the fences, then as you walk along the street or children play and etc., you're able to contribute to crime prevention. We believe, in terms of our mandate and our responsibility, that by making communities safer, we can make Jamaica safer.
We've come to the end of another wonderful journey. Thanks for your company. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, jis.gov.gm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's both Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Until next time, stay COVID-free and do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.